Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab. I got a nice little lesson I came up with. This is going to be fun. I'm really just having fun teaching perspective and concept. So feel free to join in and check out the lessons. I'll give it to you every day. Let's go. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my story. For life, I give life lessons. You tuning in to receive them, I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. All right. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Okay, let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I get through. That's what I do for you. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have to answer it for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is asleep spiritually. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself and to Maya be true. All right. P Funk's philosophy on says we don't have to go back to Egypt physically, just mental and spiritually. I did. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me. Again, I did. I ain't stepped foot in Egypt. I ain't been, but I can tell you more about Egypt than I can tell you about the United States. Why? I've been there for the last 35 years in mental and spiritual conceptually, mindful, reading. When you read, reading gives you vision. You can use your imagination with the visual in your mind and the words on the book that's telling you where you're at, and you can put yourself there. So let's go. I'm not the second coming of your boy Deke O'Malley with the going back to Egypt movement. Remember the Harlem Cotton come to Harlem? Okay, hell no. But I, but no, but to think and act like what our ancient ancestors, our ancient Egyptians. I went to Egypt to get knowledge and the truth. I found it and I've been doing it ever since I've obtained it. I've been trying to get it to you and more people. I'm seeing Egypt coming here now. We ain't got to go to Egypt. I don't like the long flights. I ain't into boats, so I ain't trying to go nowhere for real. In my mind, I can go anywhere I want. But physically, I'm a homebody. So I don't physically have to ride up and down the Nile. I know it's there. Why? With my years of studying, I know a lot about Egypt. That's my point. So again, and I did what? I mastered the Egyptian mystery system, aka they call it Smatawi or Egyptian yoga or Maya philosophy. They lived in harmony for over 3,000 years practicing the philosophy of Maya. That's what I went and got. That's why I teach. That's what I got you going through now. The Maya philosophy is what teach you how to lighten one's heart to prepare yourself for Judgment Day. Not looking to die. Oh, they was obsessed with death. No, for the process of life. No, I'm not. Okay, but I think Egyptian. I'm an Egyptian state. I stay in the Egyptian state of mind. Since I've gotten to Egypt, I got the concept, I got the philosophy, and I've been living it ever since. I have self-knowledge. I've acquired what? Knowledge of self through Egyptian philosophy that I practice and been doing for over 30 years, and I've mastered it. So now it's called right thinking philosophy, but it's the Egyptian philosophy, Egyptian yoga. This is the book. I've been reading this book 30 years. Okay, when I read it, I was a student just learning. So now I go back, dude, this is what got me started 30 years ago from the concept of knowing thyself. And my spiritual knowledge that I acquired, I got it from Egypt. I didn't go to Samaria. I didn't go to Mesopotamia. No, I went to Kemet. You call it Kemet. I don't like the Egyptian concept, but that's the new word that I use. But I'm a Cometian. Okay, Akibalam, Tasepi. Okay, all the Timeri. These are names that we call ourselves as African people. Ethiopia. The Greeks called us Egyptians. The Greeks named Africa continent Africa. Okay, so those are names that even though that white man wasn't here, he still renamed everything, and to this day we still calling it what he named it. And I'm a lot smarter and better with what? Living by my Egyptian philosophy. I'm a little bit different, okay? And I know that for a fact. So I am, in theory and philosophy, an Egyptian. What? In my thoughts, in my physical philosophy, in my actions. Why? I have high morals and I use ethics that I live by. That's the Mayat philosophy, 42 confessions. When I started out with that thing over 30 years ago, I didn't have 3 or 4 of them things. Now I got all 42. So that's a change. And thanks to that philosophy, made me who I am now. And watch this. My right thinking philosophy is really just Egyptian philosophy. Okay, dressed up and modernized by me with my philosophy that I call right thinking philosophy. But it works. Why? That's where I got it from. Okay, Egyptian philosophy is what kickstarted our modern civilization society with what? Morals and ethics that you can live by and master and better oneself. Why? Because at Judgment Day, and we all will be judged on how we lived our lives, that's when it'll come into play. Trust me. Your PhD in environmental studies, your PhD in any other area, doctor's degree, whatever it is, don't care, lawyer, but ain't none of that gonna help you at Judgment Day. So it would behoove you to get your self-knowledge and then acquire all those other degrees that you like to show off. And, okay, that's fine. But without self-knowledge, you ain't going nowhere. And all the Egyptians, their goal for them was, you ready? Not to be rich and famous. To reach Nihas, a.k.a. spiritual enlightenment before death. Why? They know if you died ignorant of yourself, you coming back here again. And that was their worst nightmare, to be reincarnated. They didn't want that. They wanted that as less as ignorant person scared to death. They didn't want to reincarnate. So they lived Maya, hold themselves accountable. Why? Because everybody got to be judged. And you will be. And they had what they call the blueprint to do what? Just that. Prepare you to lighten one's heart. Give you all the philosophical concepts, the yoga philosophy that you can practice to manifest what we're trying to get you to understand. Meditation, communion with God, selfless service, purifies the heart. Speaking my kadu, telling the truth. Those are all things that I do. That's where I got it from. I don't follow religion. I practice Maya philosophy. I call it right thinking. And Maya philosophy prepared you for the afterlife, not death. Ignorance prepares you for that. When you stay ignorant, you enjoy here, don't worry. You ain't got to worry about going nowhere. You'll be right back. But the philosophy that they lived by during their time, they didn't want to die twice. Dying twice means the physical body dies and your conscience, because it's ignorant, will die, and Amen gets to eat your heart. So you are destroyed forever. No restart. No, don't happen. You done. Your spirit will go on, but you and your body dies. That's called dying twice to the Egyptians. They didn't want that. So they did what they needed to do to prevent that. My Egyptian mystery system, knowledge, second to none. I'll put up against anything you got. And don't bring religion to me, please. I just gave you that lesson. I have the truth. That's the Bob gun. I carry a gun. Truth gun. If you got belief, you carry a big knife. As Crocodile Dundee said, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Okay, I don't give a damn how big your knife is. I got a gun. You ain't going to win that fight. So understand that. That's why I said I put my Egyptian knowledge against anybody. And better than Masonic knowledge, better than scholarly knowledge. I got a daughter with PhD, son with master's degrees. And more importantly, what I comfort, my street knowledge. If you can bump my street knowledge, you come in spiritual knowledge does just that. They put me where I need to be, off the streets, out of school, and out of that nonsense Masonic order. So I'm right where I need to be. I'm a spiritual philosopher. You can listen and learn from me why I know what I'm talking about. That's all. Moving on. Not bragging, but I think like our ancient ancestors out of Egypt. Right. Their whole thing was thinking, Tahuti, the thought process, the original right thinker, okay? For our ancient ancestors, right thinking was their way of life also. That's where I got it from. Knowing right from wrong is Maya. You doing what's right keeps you on lighthearted, good person, activity, selfless service, treating people right. You will be rewarded for that action. Anything other than that, karma gonna get you. Also, in the main problem with we are ever people, ignorance and ego. That's the combination that will keep you here over and over. He was full of it. Okay. Now, ignorance, aka your ego, was your what word is that? Sworn enemy. Like what the hell? I gotta put this together. Back in ancient times, the ego was the enemy, the sworn enemy. Being ignorant was a no-no. Those are two things that they didn't particularly care for. So they did what they needed to do to combat that, obtain self-knowledge. And egoism and ignorance were sworn enemies of who? Your ego has to be checked. If your ego is not put in check, you're going to have problems. Because if you're being ran by your ego, he's going to go the wrong way. He's going to do not the right thing. He don't know no better. But being ignorant in our ancient ancestor time and egoistic was they considered a death sentence. Why? They knew that ego don't go nowhere. If you're driven by the ego, they know the ego. They know something. You see him? That's what y'all call him the devil. Why? He's always in opposition to what's good and what's right. Every now and then he might appear to look like he's doing right, but he's going to do whatever he wants to do. He should not be. He's a good servant, but he's a bad leader. Understand that. That's emotions. They should not be in the forefront. Your philosophy, your logic, and reasoning should dictate your actions, not your emotions. Okay? So when you are egoistic and ignorant, that's a death sentence to them. And to them, all reincarnation was bad. They didn't want to reincarnate. They didn't like the idea of dying twice. Because they knew they got to come back. They had the concept. So they knew, I ain't coming back here. A one and done. When you get it right, you ain't got to worry about what's going on. No, you just get you. Just do you. Don't worry about somebody else. Why? Because the judgment day is going to just be you. So all that somebody did, and he did, or she didn't do, no, ain't got nothing to do with them. Everything I teach is about self. Be responsible. And if you don't enlighten yourself, get knowledge of who you are, you was dead. You was a dead man or dead woman walking. Dead person walking. Why? They knew that the way you living, they knew where you was going to end up. Perfect example. My best friend as a kid, my dude, my mother told me about him. She ain't hung out with him that day, but she knew about him like if she did. So I just didn't listen until I found out the hard way. Most of us do that. When we're giving advice from our elders, our parents, we don't listen. I still respect and admire my son for everything I told him he did. That's a rarity. That's rare. And I respect him for that. Why? I don't know how I would have handled him, not being the way he was. Why? He made it easy. He made it real easy. That's why. And our ancient ancestors knew that the ignorance of self, not knowing who you were a sure death sentence. They knew that. We know it too, but we don't care. We do it. My man called it death by installments. He didn't live long. Why? The lifestyle that he chose wasn't for longevity. Okay? Dog shit fast, don't shit long. Moving on. You can have all the fun you want, but it won't be long. I don't wear no Egyptian gear. First of all, understand that. And I've been in Egypt for 30 years. I don't give a damn about their clothes. Could care less about the print. Yeah, I know I'm not into fashion. Could care less. I wear sweatsuits with my emblem on it. This is the most Egyptian I'm going to get right there with the eye and my pyramids. That's as far as I'm going. You never see me in no damn dashiki. No, I'm not doing that. It look good. I admire, but that ain't my thing. Can you imagine me all guard down to Africa again? Hmm. You never know. Don't say never. All right. But I live my yacht. I practice their philosophy. I don't give a damn how they walk. I'm not wearing sandals. I don't like my feet out, so I don't like that either. See, certain things I couldn't handle. Greek. Why? I don't do togas. I like wearing drawers. I don't like my boys free and free. No, I like to bounce them up together. So, a few things that I didn't particularly care for, and I might not have, might not have been my thing. That's all. But I went to Egypt for knowledge. I went to Egypt to get the truth that I was in search of. That was over 30 years ago, but I found it. And I didn't go there for no damn clothes. It looked like no damn Egyptian. I went there for the knowledge. I got what I went there for. How about that? And no, you ain't gonna see me in no daishiki. You ain't gonna see me rocking the kente cloth or gear for me. Nope, just their philosophy. I wanted just that. I don't want to look like the Egyptian. I don't want to dress like an Egyptian. I just want to think and be smart like an Egyptian. Difference, okay? So we going to Egypt mentally and spiritually, not physically. You know how much money it costs to take all these niggas back to Africa? It'd be a bigger trip taking them back than it was to bring them over here. They're not going to do that. So don't worry about going there. Get the mental understanding and get the concept. That's all you need. That's all you need. Now you can manifest it. Why? Y'all say the blood of Jesus that worked 2,000 years ago still work today. I say knowledge of our ancient Egyptian philosophy still work today. Why? I practice it. I'm using it. That's why. Again, I don't need to look like no damn Egyptian. I just want to live like the Egyptians. What? Right. Simple, okay? And that's what I got the philosophy to do, so I can use it. And I've been using it since I got it. And I don't just use it, I give it away. Why? Somebody else can use it. Wrapping it up. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. Let me do this. I have been in Egypt for the last 35 years, okay? And I ain't leaving no time soon. My philosophical concept, my brother called it the Egyptian shit. Okay, I'm all in with the Egyptian shit. So if that ain't your thing, that's cool. I was told by one of the most ignorant Muslim brothers that I've come across in a long time, because he traveled to Egypt, he went to Africa. He says, you don't, if you haven't visited Egypt, you can't talk about it. You don't know about Egypt. I beg to differ. You've been there, and I guarantee you, I know way more about Egypt philosophically than you'll ever know. Why? Because I studied, I learned, and have been. You just going for the visit to say, I've been to Egypt. Okay. And been there in my mind for 30 years. What's the point? Physically, can't afford it, don't like to fly. So I don't have to physically go to Egypt. I'm not doing that. Simple as that. What? I got my reason. But you can't tell me because I'm not there physically. I can't talk about and teach about the Egyptian philosophy. You crazy as all get up. That's your boy. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. This is for the guys who, you deal with every now and then. So I had to put that out there for them. I ain't putting them on blast, calling your name out. I'm not going to make you famous on my show. That ain't happening. All right. But he claimed you had to visit. No, wrong. Again, he is wrong. He is ignorant. He is as ignorant of knowledge. You go back. He said if you haven't visited Egypt, you can't know about Egypt. He is as wrong and ignorant of knowledge as you can learn about my philosophy. Okay, you can learn about any place without physically going there. We talk about heaven and hell. We talk about a whole bunch of things that we haven't been to. So that makes no sense, my dude. Okay, that shows how ignorant you really are. You claim to want people to think you're telling, I went to Egypt. I know about Egypt. But then you back it up with showing your ignorance, how you really ignorant you are about. If you ain't been to Egypt, you can't talk about it. You don't know about it. See? Ignorance. But there it's called imagination, my dude. Okay? Imagination. God is mental, okay? He ain't physical. He ain't human. Spirit and consciousness. You got the spirit, but you don't have the consciousness, so you don't know God, and you sure don't know thyself. You. So you a believer in God. Yeah, that means you can't. You believe in a God that you can't what? Smell, see, hear, touch, or taste, but you believe in it. In your philosophy, your way, that is dumb. And you exhibiting ignorance for your own self. You put your own self in a bad predicament by making a statement about if you ain't been there, you can't talk about it. You ain't been to heaven. You ain't been with that God you got Allah. You ain't been to wherever it is. So what's the point? It's ignorant. My point is we ain't got to go there physically because I'm not. But mentally, spiritually, I've been there for 35 years. Going over. I know. We ain't got to go. Why? We bringing it here. I see more and more Egyptian stuff. I'm loving it. Why? That's my thing. And I'm with that. So hope you enjoyed the lesson. Very quick philosophy of the Egyptian. You don't have to go to Egypt physically, but you can go spiritually and mentally. I've been there. I'm still there. Come on, join me. Spiritually and mentally, physically, I could care less about the body. I want from the neck up. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Right thinkers and close that may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus that day. So I'm knowing my right thinkers who now understand we don't have to go back to Egypt physically, just mentally and spiritually. I did. Passed away. Did you?